Hey, hi, hello, and welcome. It's been a little over a month since the last time I did like an off-the-cuff, no-script rambling video talking about something. I thought, after the Xbox game show that happened on the 23rd, well, 2 days ago for me at this point, the event itself was unremarkable, to say the least. It was like a 4 out of 10 at absolute most, and that's only because Obsidian showed a teaser for their new RPG, Avowed. The reason I'm making this video today is they showed the teaser for Fable 4, or the Fable Reboot. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that trailer, I almost cried. I spent the whole thing just saying, like, whenever there was like the world premiere thing that came up, I would make a joke of like, oh, Fable 4 please, or Splinter Cell or Rayman, because I think Ubisoft would have had probably the best presentation if they revealed a new Splinter Cell or a new Rayman, but that's just me being me and selfish and only wanting what I want, but that's what this video's about, so... But at the end of the event, they showed the trailer for Fable 4, and it looked like a generic fantasy setting at first, and I didn't pay any attention to it, but on the pommel of the sword, there was the Heroes Guild symbol, or like the guild seal on the pommel of the sword, and I almost broke my girlfriend's ankle because I saw that and I just like reached for the closest thing in shock and just like clenched her ankle. It just got me so excited. Like, the one thing I feel like the 8th console generation missed out on was having a Fable game. I mean, we had a backwards compatibility update for Fable 2, which was fine. They uploaded the Fable HD collection for digital download. Okay. I mean, they scratch an itch, but they don't satisfy the need. You know, like... And the fact that they still expect you to pay, like, an insane amount of money for, like, the Fable 2 DLCs. Like, I think it's, like, for the main story add-on DLCs, it's still something like £12 combined. So probably about, like, $14, $15. Which is ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty sure that game is, like, nearly 12 years old at this point, like 11, 12 years old. I want to say 2008, 2009. That's ridiculous for DLC for a decade-old game and a decade-old DLC. But that's probably just me being petty and not wanting to pay that much, especially because it pisses me off more because I had a Fable 2 character saved on Not Whole Island, sold my copy off because I needed the money, and then when I got the digital download version and I didn't have the DLC, I lost that character, so I'm bitter. After the disaster that was Fable Journey, like the donkey simulator, and just how horribly mediocre Fable 3 was, we needed a new Fable experience, preferably away from the hands of Peter Molyneux. Nothing against Lionhead Studios. I think for what they had to work with and what they gave us, they did a fantastic job. But Peter Molyneux is notorious for bigging up games and features that aren't going to be there, and then just shrugging his shoulders when everyone's like, well, where are the fucking destructible trees and shit? Like, why can't I chop down this tree like you promised me, Pete? It was basically like the No Man's Sky of like the early 2000s. Like, promising all these features weren't there, people were annoyed, and the developer just kind of goes, well, that's what you get. Difference is, No Man's Sky is actually a good game now, so after this teaser of, I don't know if, I think it's a reboot. I think I've heard that it's an actual reboot, not a sequel, which is good. I genuinely believe that, because Fable kind of got weird with how they handled their own, like, mysticism in the game. Like, it went from Fable 1, where, like, anyone could be a hero, like, anyone with enough time, practice, and patience could, like, learn, like, to fight. Or people who were born with the potential for magic could hone that and become wizards. Fable 2, it was like, oh, it turns out you're, like, the descendant of, like, the greatest hero ever. And even though it, like, jumped from Monty Python and the Holy Grail... Monty Python and the Holy Grail times to, like, I don't know, it was just verging on the Industrial Revolution, and then Fable 3 went full on, like, 1800s Victorian England. I don't know my own country's history. I don't know if the 1800s were Victorian. I'm pretty sure they were. Couldn't tell you. And with that, like, Fable 3, they outright said, like, magic basically doesn't exist. You had to wear the weird gauntlet to use magic to, like, channel the power. So, like, the next generation basically would have, like, no magic. And then Albion and the city of Bowerstone was basically just going to become modern London if they did, like, a direct sequel. Which, yeah, would have been awful. Would have been made sense, though. So the fact that we've got a reboot, I don't know where they're putting it. I mean, they've shown it like a very heavy fantasy, like fairy tale aesthetic in their trailer. But it might be going right back to the styles of Fable 1, where it's like swords, crossbows, bows and arrows, magic. I'm fine with that. That would be amazing. And the customization for your characters, like on the 9th generation console with like, it's going to be insane. I mean, I personally, preferably would like to see them go for more like the Fable 2 Fable aesthetic, which, like, for all we know, we might get, because all we really see of Bowerstone at the minute is Fairfax Castle and the surrounding city. I'd have to go back and have a look again to see if there's like any traces of maybe like industry, but I wouldn't mind if they, or even if it was like merging, like it was like the remnants of the medieval times moving into the blossoming beginnings of industry. I wouldn't complain. I mean, everyone's going to have their own preference. That's just mine. I'm curious to see as well if they're going to do like a completely original story, or if it's going to be like they're going to take elements from previous games. Like, to see the Jack of Blades return would be sick, because he wasn't like the only one of his kind. Like there was like 4 of them. I think there was the King, Queen, the Jack, and one other. I can't remember. I know it's all like additional universe stuff, but it'd be cool to see like Jack of Blades, the Queen of Blades, and whatever as like a antagonist group. Or maybe, I don't know, they do the Spire plotline. No, that Spire thing was absolute bollocks. I don't know, like, but they could include like Lucian as minor antagonist. They could have him working with Reaper, and my mind's going nuts with all the things that it could be. They've got, that's one of the great things about reboots. They've got so much to work with from the previous 3 games. They've got an entire established world with literally hundreds of years of lore from the original hero right up until the prince in Fable 3. They've got a lot to work with in terms of time frame, background, lore, NPCs, characters, enemies. They can basically do whatever they want, and I'm excited for it. I don't know when we'll get it, because there was no 2021 release or 2020 release. We literally had nothing. All we had was Fable, and it faded. This is BoneHead from Beyond the Video. When I watched the trailer back after recording this, I realised that the shot that the trailer ends on, that it hangs on the longest, I think that might be like a title screen maybe. If not, you have to admit, it would make a pretty sick title screen. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, bye. It blew my mind to see this, because again, I really didn't expect them to do it. You know, like, it became like a running joke whenever something like this happened. It was like, oh, maybe we'll see Fable. And it was, for maybe the last, like, 3 years now, maybe, I've been asking for, like, a new Splinter Cell. I've been asking for a new Rayman. And I've asked for a new Fable. I mean, Borderlands was on that list, and then Borderlands came out. I have, like, a whole other opinion on Borderlands 3. Mostly, I don't like it. And then obviously like Kingdom Hearts 3, because like everyone was like, oh, I've waited like a decade and a half. I didn't like it. I mean, I might re-like it. I might like it now, because apparently after like the Remind DLC came out, they updated some stuff. And one of my main gripes with it was like the story and some parts of the combat, and they've probably fixed that. So I'm gonna have to replay it. So we've got Fable, and that genuinely excites me. And I doubt it's going to be a launch title. I think maybe we might get this like early 2021 or maybe the arse end of 2021, if at all, because we don't know how far along in production they are. If they haven't put a release window at the end of their teaser, it's anyone's guess. Now I just need Rayman and Splinter Cell and Bob's your uncle, but I don't know. Let me know how you feel about the Fable reboot, what you think they're going to do, what you'd like to see them do. Let me know if you also want Splinter Cell and Rayman. Let me know if you want 2D or 3D Rayman. I don't know. Tell me stuff. Well, I think that's enough of me going off now. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.